Let me be honest with you from the start. There was a time in my life when I genuinely thought I was untouchable. Not in a superhero way, more like a delusional, arrogant, the rules don't apply to me kind of way. I really believed I was special. I don't mean talented. I don't mean gifted. I mean chosen. Or at least that's what my ego whispered to me every night while I was drowning it in alcohol and pretending it was confidence. Money? I chased it. Women? I surrounded myself with them. Clubs, lights, music, bottles on the table, people looking at me like I mattered. That was my religion. And the funny thing is, from the outside, it worked. People thought I was living the dream. I thought I was living the dream. But inside I was empty. Not sad empty, not heartbroken empty. I mean nothing empty. The kind of emptiness where silence scares you, where you need noise, chaos, attention, anything, just to avoid being alone with your own thoughts. I used to wake up after a night out, look at the ceiling and think, is this it? Is this really it? Then I'd laugh it off, grab my phone, check my messages, see who was still around, and convince myself that happiness was just one more party away. Spoiler alert, it wasn't. The more I had, the worse it got. I reached levels I once dreamed about and felt absolutely nothing when I got there. If you'd given me all the money in the world, 10 women in the room, and a mountain of cash behind me for a photo, I still wouldn't have smiled for real. I hated who I was becoming, but I didn't know how to stop, so I kept going. I drank more, I partied harder, I pretended louder. Because when you don't know how to fix the pain, you distract it. I had a relationship back then. She wasn't perfect, neither was I, but she cared. She asked me for one thing, just one. Stop going to the clubs, stop drinking, just be present. That's it. And what did I do? I went to the clubs, I drank more. I chose myself every single time. I told myself I deserved it. I told myself she was overreacting. I told myself I was in control. I wasn't. She left. Then my son drifted away from my life. Then my father died. And when my father died, everything collapsed. He wasn't just my dad. He was my anchor. He was the only person who made me feel safe without trying. The only person who believed in me even when I didn't deserve it. I was 20 years old and completely unprepared for the world. The day I got the call, my sister's voice was shaking. She said, "Dad's collapsed." Stroke, they said. Brain hemorrhage. I didn't panic at first. He'd been in and out of hospital before. I told myself he'd be fine. I went to the hospital and saw him on the bed. That image still visits me when I don't invite it. Machines beeping, faces tense, the room heavier than air. The doctor gathered us and said words that felt unreal. I don't know how to tell you this. I stayed that night. Everyone else went home. Kids, jobs, responsibilities. I stayed. I walked the hospital corridors in circles like a ghost. I lay next to him and watched his chest rise and fall, hoping somehow my presence could keep him alive. It couldn't. He died the next morning. The last real conversation we had still echoes in my head. He called me weeks before and said, "I love you. I'm proud of you." I brushed it off. I told him a movie was coming out soon. We both loved Marvel. I didn't know that was goodbye. After he died, I didn't know how to live. I didn't know how to be an adult. I didn't know how to manage money. I didn't know how to grieve. So I escaped. Again. The house was mortgaged. Debts surfaced. The home was sold. Within a week. Just like that. Gone. I didn't move in with my sisters. Pride is a strange thing. It'll make you homeless before it lets you ask for help. I ended up in hostels. Places where hope goes to die quietly. From one hostel to another, surrounded by people who were just as lost, or worse, than I was. I declined fast. I did things I'm not proud of. Not because I wanted to be bad, but because I didn't know how to survive. No ID, no bank account, no job. Trapped in a system that doesn't care why you fell, only that you did. Eventually, I slept on the streets. Winter, concrete under my spine, a thin turtleneck pulled over my head like a cocoon, pretending it could protect me from the cold. I remember shivering so hard my teeth hurt, and that's when it happened. A man approached me. I didn't want help. I told him to leave me alone. He didn't. He asked me what was wrong. I told him everything. My father, the house, the mess. He listened. Then he said something I had never heard before in my life. Come stay with me, for Allah. For Allah. No benefit, no condition, no expectation, just mercy. And I remember thinking, why me? Why would someone help me for no reason? That question changed everything. I didn't know it at the time, but that night, freezing on concrete, wrapped in a thin turtleneck like it was a blanket, was the lowest point of my life, and also the beginning. Funny how that works. You think rock bottom is the end. Turns out, sometimes it's just the floor God pushes you off so you finally look up. I went with him, not because I trusted him, not because I believed in his God. I went because I was tired. Tired of fighting, tired of pretending, tired of surviving. He put me in a room, a real room, with a door, a bed. I slept for almost a full day, and when I woke up, something strange happened. No hangover, no club noise in my ears, no shame-filled memories playing on repeat, just silence. And for the first time in a long time, the silence didn't scare me. The man's name was Mohsen. He didn't preach, he didn't pressure, he didn't talk about religion, not once, for weeks. Instead, he did something far more dangerous. He treated me like a human being. He fed me, he checked on me, he asked how I was feeling, and actually waited for the answer. And the other men around him? They called me brother. That word hit me harder than anything. Brother. No blood relation, no shared past, no conditions, just acceptance. I remember thinking, these people don't even know me, and they care more than most people who've known me my whole life. They took me to the gym. Now listen, I'm not saying lifting weights fixes trauma, but it helps you remember you're still alive. Slowly, my posture changed, then my breathing, then my mind. They didn't rebuild me with lectures. They rebuilt me with presence. One day, the conversations changed. We started talking about God, not emotionally, logically. Questions I'd carried since childhood, questions I was told not to ask, were suddenly welcomed. Why would God become a man? Why would God need to die? Why does forgiveness feel outsourced? And for the first time, nobody got angry at me for asking. They encouraged it. I watched debates, listened, argued back, and I lost every single time. Not because I was stupid, but because the answers finally made sense. I learned something that shocked me. We believe in the same God, the same prophets. How did nobody tell me this? How do you grow up believing Muslims are other, only to realize they've been kneeling to the same creator all along? I felt lied to, not by people, but by narratives. The more I learned, the heavier my heart got, because truth has weight. Then there was the Quran. I didn't understand Arabic, still don't fully, but something about it felt untouched, unchanged, protected. I learned about memorization. Thousands of people carrying the same words, letter for letter, heart to heart. That mattered to me, a lot, because if truth exists, it should be preserved, not edited by power. I started visiting the mosque. I was terrified the first time. Tattoos everywhere, past written on my skin. I thought people would judge me. They didn't. They hugged me. Some kissed my head. Someone smiled and said, Allah is the most forgiving, and something inside me cracked. Not broke, cracked open. I realized something painful. I wasn't running from God my whole life. I was running towards Him. I just didn't know His name. Then one day I said it out loud. I want to become Muslim. No fireworks, no thunder, just certainty. We went to the mosque. I stood there shaking. When I said the Shahada, something happened that I can't fully explain without sounding crazy, but I'll try anyway. It felt like someone lifted a weight off my chest that I didn't know I was carrying. Years of guilt, years of shame, years of running, gone. I didn't feel judged. I felt forgiven, like a reset button had been pressed on my soul. People hugged me, smiled, but the real moment happened inside. I walked out different, not perfect, different. Life didn't magically become easy after that. Bad habits don't evaporate because you believe now. They fade slowly, like shadows when the sun rises, step by step, mistake by mistake. But now when I fell forward. I wasn't alone anymore. I went to Umrah later, standing among millions of people, different colors, languages, histories, all moving as one. No VIPs, no status, just humans. And I remember thinking, this is what the world is supposed to look like. I thought about my past, the ego, the emptiness, the nights I thought I was a god, while I was actually lost. And I laughed, a soft laugh. Because sometimes the only way to heal is to admit how ridiculous you once were. Today my purpose is simple, not money, not fame, meaning. To be better than yesterday, to help when I can, to remind people that no matter how far you think you've gone, mercy is closer than you think. If you're listening to this and you feel empty, you're not broken. You're being called. And trust me, rock bottom isn't